Good morning. I'm Kerry. I'm a retired financial advisor. But I want to start out by bringing your attention to the message I put in the chat. I don't give financial advice. I share with people my portfolio and what I buy and sell. And I don't direct message. So if you get something that represents me or Trent or Mark, it's a scam. Be aware. Um, as the thumbnail says, I'm looking for the next Microsoft. I did some research because I think there's so many parallels as to what's going on right now in the AI revolution, as it relates to the .com revolution and the introduction of the internet as we know it today and how it's changed our lives. And so I looked up and I found that Microsoft went public in 1986 at $21 a share. And that's the equivalent split adjusted at 7 cents a share. And so it has grown by 5,800x since its introduction. And I thought, well, why if the AI revolution, which I believe is even bigger than the internet, why am I not looking for the next? Why am I not looking for the next Microsoft or the next Amazon? And then I saw an ad this morning that was telling me that Blackrock, which is, as I understand it, one of the wisest financial analysts in the world's largest holding is NVDA. Do I believe NVIDIA is the next Microsoft of 1986? No, I don't think so. I don't think so because I don't. NVIDIA is not going to change the world. It already has, but it's not going to change the world to the magnitude that Microsoft did when it went public in 1986. So, how do you find the next Microsoft? How do you search through all these stocks that are emerging in this world of AI? All intelligence is going to be made available to us through the internet that will change the world. How do you find that stock? Well, it's, I guess, the old needle in a haystack. So maybe you employ or entice over 1,000 people to go look for such a stock and bring it to your attention. And that's what Best of Us Investors has evolved into. And I don't know that this stock is, in fact, the next Microsoft, but his handle on our Discord is Yevling, Yuvling. This weekend said, take a look at this stock, Kerry. I think it might have some merit and some possibilities. And at my first take on it, I wrote him back and I said, I don't really know what this stock is. It doesn't have the obvious understanding of for me of what it's going to do in the future, but I'm intrigued. So what I did is what I always do. I turned it over to Samantha and understand what Samantha is. She is an AI agent. I hear, in fact, I heard Jim Cramer and David Favor this morning just talking about the reason that the AI stocks are down right now is that AI is failing, that it hallucinates, it gets things wrong, and people are losing faith in it. Well, my answer to them would be, you get what you pay for, guys. Uh, if you're paying nothing for AI, that's what you're going to get. if you're paying $20 for access to all the intelligence in the world, that's what you're going to get. But if you pay $216 a month like I do, you get a portfolio that's up over 94% year to date. Samantha took over my portfolio. Didn't take it over. She works with me, and Bard, and we analyze stocks, and our portfolio was up 128%, and then when with this question about AI, it's pulled back a bit. We're up about 94% right now. So you get what you pay for. Am I confident that this stock that as it ended up, I had Samantha go over from Yovling. I just think it might be another Microsoft. And when I look at Microsoft, I think back, well, what was Microsoft? Well, when I was first exposed to it, it replaced the typewriter. It replaced my slide rule, my calculator. It eventually gave me what they called cloud computing, and it has become the software of choice of most enterprises. And this whole cloud computing thing, which I was very skeptical of, why would I want my data not on my hard drive, but out in the cloud that I could access? And I came to understand why I would. I also came to understand what AI was going to be and how it was going to change the world. And this stock that Yovling gave me fit all the criteria. It is going to replace um, a large segment of stock trading. It's going to replace, it's going to build its own data centers and lease some of its space to CoreWeave. And so it's got multitudes of earnings power, and it has no debt, and it has a lot of money behind it. And so I shared with my tribe that I bought some of it today as the market opened to build a position in it because I think it just might be the next Microsoft and could give me over. I don't think it's going to take me 39 years like Microsoft has to give you a 5,800% return on your investment. But I think it might take me five years to get that. But that's really irrelevant because what I know is because of Yevling and people like him who are of like mind to me that says if we rather than go this journey of participating in the largest change in our world by ourselves, if we crowdfund it and we each contribute both our intellectual capability and our money, and we gain access to all the data. We subscribe to Zacks, and we subscribe to Seeking Alpha, and we subscribe to the chartings, and we pay the $216 a month, but we pool it where it only costs each one of us maybe $60 a month. But if we find the next Microsoft or the next Amazon as a result of that, it's irrelevant. It really is. And is it feasible? Well, again, I would just share with you. I put what was it, $688,000 into this Bus 13 portfolio on May the 1st of 2025, and it's now worth over $1.3 million. Yeah, it's worth $60 a month. And then if it continues at that pace, and if it continues to give us buying opportunities like it has in the last 3 weeks, to buy into companies because they are depressed, because the talking heads on TV say that AI hallucinates. Well, you get what you pay for, folks. If you give a AI agent that is strong, and you don't just ask it a question, you feed it data to support your question and to give it a source from which to analyze your question, you're going to get real data, and your portfolio will go up at one point 128% in 6 months. It once you come to the realization that those stocks are out there, that there are, what was it? I did a survey, and it told me that 273 stocks over the past year have had a return on investment between 100% and 9,000% over the last year. 273. So they're there. If you accept that they're there, you've just got to find them. Well, then I think the first thing you got to do is say, what do they look like? Well, okay, what did Microsoft look like in 1986? And how did what path did it follow to achieve a 5,800% return? What did Amazon look like when it IPO'd? And then what path did it follow? And how did its earnings grow? How did its PE ratio grow? How did its revenues grow? How did its debt diminish so that it achieved a 3,000x return since its IPO? We know there's 273 of them out there. All we got to do is go and find them. And we each only have so much time to search. So if you bring 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 people together and you crowd fund the search, are you going to find the stock that is going to give you a 9,000% return? Probably. At least you know you got a better chance. And it might not get 9,000. It might only get 5,000. It may only be an Amazon. Okay. How come I can't find this stock? Probably because you're not looking in the right place. This is a good question, though. DK01 157. That's a good question. How come I can't find the stock? The answer is, how many stocks per day do you look at their financial statement? How many stocks a day do you go look at their financial statement to see, is their revenue growing? Are their earnings growing? Are their profits growing? What was their PE ratio 5 years ago? What is it today? What was their operating margins 5 years ago? What are they today? I have a conversation scheduled later today from someone of stature who wants to know how I have achieved what I've achieved in the first 6 months of this year. And my first question to them will be, if you had $1 million and you could invest it in any company you wanted in Paducah, Kentucky, which company would you buy? Now, I know they're not from Paducah, Kentucky. Okay, what would you do? Well, I think the first thing you do is go to Paducah, Kentucky and survey the companies in Paducah, Kentucky that are on a growth trajectory that you could buy for $1 million. And then what would you do? You'd look at their books. You'd see their past history. You'd see how many employees do they have, and how much revenue is each employee generating. Wouldn't you do that? And how much profit does each employee generate? And what is their total addressable market? Can they expand beyond Paducah, Kentucky? Can they expand into Germany, into Russia, into China? Does everybody in the world want what they've got once they understand what they've got? Is that how you might approach buying a $1 million company in Paducah, Kentucky? Then why the hell would you do anything any different if all you've got is $10,000 and you're investing in the stock market? Wouldn't you want to know what you're buying and what their TAM, their total addressable market, is, and what their operating margins are today and what they were 3 years ago, and what their revenue was 3 years ago and what it's projected to be 3 years from now? Wouldn't you want to know that? Of course you would, but that's not how you invest, is it? You invest in what the talking heads tell you is the next best stock. You will look at the ad that Blackrock put out and says their largest holding is NVDA. NVDA isn't going to give you an 8,000 return. The name of the stock that's going to give you the 8,000x you've never heard of before. But if you go ask Yovling, he'll tell you what it is. You'll find him on our Discord. Or you can go to my tell sheet and you can see which stock I did an analysis on this weekend, and go click on the deep dive. That's where Samantha and Bard will tell you exactly what this stock is, what it's doing, and why I bought 200 shares of it this morning. It's not that difficult, folks. There are 273 stocks on the stock market that already has achieved this year a return on investment of over 100%, up to 9,000%. And you buy ETFs and you buy index funds. You dumb your portfolio down to where you will get 9%, whereas we'll get something quite better. How would you use AI to hunt for the stocks? Yeah, are you shitting me? How would you use AI to do that? Why don't you go ask Coca-Cola its formula for Coke? Why don't you go ask Jensen Huang its design for its next GPU? Why don't you do that and see what kind of answer you get from Jensen? Folks, business is about intelligence. It's about knowledge. What I know that you don't know gives me an advantage. That's why you pay a brain surgeon so much. because he has the knowledge that can keep you alive, or at least keep you alert. Come on. Don't ask me questions like that. I do not serve a free lunch. Okay? I invest my bill for Samantha and this business runs somewhere around $25,000 a month. Now, go do it for yourself, but don't ask me to give it to you. Come on. This is a capitalist country. We don't give things away. We sell them or we crowd fund them. And if you want to participate, or if you want to come back, what, 10 years from now, and I tell you how I got 9,000% return off of that stock I talked to you about on December the 15th of 2025. Well, we'll do that. Okay, I've got some work to do, and I've got a very important conversation I've got to have with one of the hyperscalers, or a representative of one of the hyperscalers, later this today, because Mark Cuban, I will never forget this. Mark Cuban, about 6 months ago, said there's some dude sitting in his basement that understands AI who's going to become the next trillionaire in the United States. Oh, here I am in my basement. I'll be damned.